Oh my god, alright. So I just gotta take a minute to get my energy up. I just came in from outside. You have no idea how hot it is outside. I don't care where you live and how hot you think it is where you live. Nothing compares to what's going on in New York City right now outside that door, alright? There's like people from Hong Kong crying. There's Dominicans throwing up in the street. There's Jamaican people collapse on the sidewalk unable to continue because the heat is that unbearable. It's disgusting. Today I want to go over some of the phrases that make New York English so colorful, in the hopes that you'll be able to integrate these phrases into the New York accent that you're hopefully developing in conjunction with these excellent learning aids that I'm providing you with. By the way, it's so hot that right now I'm not wearing pants. It's true, but I have the good taste to keep my, hairless but strangely somehow attractive legs out of frame because I don't want to freak people out. So the first phrase we're going to go over today is not for nothing. Now, not for nothing is an oft misunderstood and misused phrase. Nowadays, you'll hear some people using not for nothing in the same way you might use or at the beginning of a sentence, which is not the true meaning of it at all. I'll give you an example. You might hear some guy say something like, yes, not for nothing, I go down to the store, right, and not for nothing, but they're out of milk. So I turn to the counter guy and I say, hey, buddy, not for nothing, you guys are out of milk. And then he says, well, not for nothing, it's not my job to order it. And then I says, oh yeah, well how about I come behind that counter, crack your head open like a walnut, make it your job to order the milk, huh? Sorry, I get aggressive when it gets hot out. I can't handle this heat. My point was that that's not the way that you're supposed to use not for nothing, but that's the way you'll hear some people using it these days. The original usage of not for nothing, it was intended as a prefix, a sort of preamble, if you will, that you would put on the beginning of a statement to soften the blow of something harsh that you felt compelled to say but might not want to say. When it comes to Middle American English, not for nothing might correspond with, I'm terribly sorry to have to say this, but. That would be the kind of translation for not for nothing. I'll give you an example. So let's say you've got this buddy who he buys this shirt and it looks terrible on him. It's just a horrible, horrible shirt, but the guy's got no idea. He wears it around, he loves it, he's making a jerk out of himself, right? So you might say something to him like, hey, Tommy, you listen, not for nothing, but that shirt, might look better on somebody else, you know what I mean? Another example is, let's say you have a friend who's sensitive about his weight. All right, let's say he was one of those fat kids who grew up and then spent a lot of hours in the gym and really watched what he ate, and then he kind of trimmed down and now he looks great, right? But then he starts letting himself go and he starts putting the weight back on, but he's sensitive about it. You might say to him hey Tommy, not for nothing, but maybe you should lay off the pizza, huh? Once you've paved the way with the not for nothing statement, you can now say whatever it is you really wanted to say, free of any kind of modifier. Sort of yeah, not for nothing, but blah, blah, blah. Hey, need a carrot, you fat bastard. For Christ's sake. It's so hot. Another phrase we could try is, tell me something I don't know. Which might correspond with, you don't say. Like in old, or Middle American English, alright, Mrs. Massetti, so I passed the corner of Mulberry and Grand and I just found out they opened up a new bakery there. And she might say something like, oh, you don't say, right? Which would correspond Mrs. Massetti, so I passed Mulberry and Grand, and on the corner there they opened up a new bakery, and she'd say, yeah, tell me something I don't know. Actually, that doesn't correspond with it, because, no, that's more she wouldn't know that unless she actually lived on the corner of Mulberry and Grand, and maybe she lived on Mott and Grand, and she saw the new bakery. So that's not quite a good translation. This is why I used to teach English in Japan to little school kids, and this is why I quit. I was terrible at it. You can imagine me in a room full of Japanese school children all teaching them, and they'd be sitting there saying, tell me something I don't know. I was terrible at that job. No, alright, tell me something I don't know is more yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's what it would correspond with, no shit, Sherlock. Or, oh, duh. It's a more colorful way of saying duh, right? There's a new bakery on the corner, oh, duh. There's a new bakery on the corner, yeah, tell me something I don't know, asshole. Well, you don't have to put the asshole part in. Speaking of which, I really hope there's no little kids watching this. I know it's the internet. If you're a little kid watching this, close the window, click the little, if you get a Mac, click the little red button. If you get a PC, click the little button with the X. I'm not sure if this is in frame. It's too hot for this shit.